Hello everybody, this is Doll Dazzler and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some more dolls out of my doll collection. And this is Binnie and Winnie Walker. I have quite a few of these, and in a previous video I had mentioned that I'd be sharing these with you guys so I could show you the difference between the Binnie and the Winnie Walkers. They all use the Sissy face mold. They were made in 53 through 55. They're all hard plastic and they are Walker dolls. I'm going to take you a little bit close to each one of them. On this side here, these three dolls here, this one I had purchased, I believe I purchased these three from a Goodwill store. And then this one I had purchased, I believe, in an antique store. And these two I purchased on eBay. So starting out with these that I purchased from the Goodwill store. I should have probably looked a little bit more closely before purchasing these dolls because they do have some defects. And I will be selling these dolls because I don't have enough room to handle the size. These are 25-inch dolls. So I am going to be selling probably the majority of them, with the exception of probably two. So anyway, so I had purchased this one, bring this up just a little bit, from the Goodwill store. She didn't have, let's see, I think she did not have this dress on. I had purchased the dress actually from an antique store. So this is a typical, probably 50s, 60s dress on her. She did have this bonnet, which is kind of strange, but I left them exactly the way they are. I have not handled them a lot. So other than putting this dress on her, she did have these shoes on and the bonnet. And then she had some kind of, it was like a little wrap, like she was wrapped up, like a baby doll. So I did know it was a Madame Alexander Binnie Walker, and I will show you why. I'm just gonna take off her bonnet here a little bit. She does have some damage up here in this part here, but buying her, I think I got her for like $2 or $3. So I had figured at that point in time that maybe I could have her restored because these dolls are, I would consider them, you know, they're pretty expensive doll when you find them in good condition, and they're beautiful. I think they're beautiful. Her makeup is actually not too bad. She's a little bit dirty, but it's a little light, but it's still all intact, and so that's one of the things I look for. And then also an original wig. This is a Binnie Walker, and the way you can tell the difference between Binnie and Winnie is this is a Binnie. So Binnie has a wig that it's glued onto the head, but on this it's like a vinyl skull cap, and the hair is actually rooted into that. So it's like it's rooted on and then it's glued onto the head. And then the Binnie Walker just has a regular wig glued onto the head, and I'll show you that difference up close in a minute. So she's not in bad condition, not too bad anyway. She's still, her legs and they're very large. So let's see if I can get down there so I can show you that her legs do still move back and forth. She seems like she's let's see, maybe I can move her off of the stand a little bit or something to help with that. But anyway, she does still work. Her head moves back and forth, so all of her parts do still work. She just has a little bit of damage, but you know, if there's somebody out there that does doll restoration, you know, it's a good base to have, because the only thing that I see really is this area here on her head that has a little bit of cracking on it. So I don't think that that's really a big deal. Most of it's covered by the wig anyway, but her eyelashes are intact. Her face is actually beautiful. I think she just needs a little bit of washing. She might show a little bit of sun damage. maybe a little bit of whitening from the sun damage, but it's not significant. I think a good cleaning might help this doll, but she does have the original wig, which is very nice for this doll. So that is a Binnie Walker. This one too is also a Binnie Walker. I did see her at the Goodwill store. Like I said, I knew right away that these were Madame Alexander Binnie and Binnie Walkers. She again has that same wig that's sewed onto the vinyl cap and then glued onto the head. This doll, however, she has some really interesting type of issues. I got her because her makeup was in good condition, and I thought, well, maybe I could have her eyelashes restored. But I don't know if this is typical of this particular doll to have her head be wiggling so much. It doesn't seem like it's still attached to the walker, but what makes her different is the fact that, let me take her off the stand. This is the different doll that I'd like to show up close. I don't know much about this. I have tried to do the research on, I don't know why her head would wiggle like that. Maybe it's been replaced inside with something. But the reason why I didn't worry so much about it was because she is jointed. And she needs cleaned pretty bad, but her joints are actually pretty much intact. She's got a little bit of a crack here that could use some work. But as far as anything else, it seems like she's kind of dirty. But you know, if you have another doll that you need one leg for, but the thing that made me curious about it was the fact that she does have this joint in the leg. She doesn't have any other joints. Like in the Sissy doll, there's a joint in the upper arm. So I don't know if maybe this body really isn't for her. But on her head, she is marked underneath there. It's a little bit dirty under there. Not real bad. It's just a little bit of dirt. She's marked on her head, Alexander. So that's why I was able to tell that she is a Binnie Walker. So I don't know. When I go to sell this doll, I probably will sell her for parts because, I mean, her makeup is beautiful. There's not a whole lot of work that needs to be done, and she doesn't carry an odor. So I know that she's not, you know, like decomposing or anything. So her makeup is beautiful for the head alone. And I don't know, there's no markings on her body that would say that she's Alexander. And I have done the research on it, so I don't really know. Anyway, so if I go to sell her, it would probably be for pieces and parts for the head. And I don't know, maybe the body. I can't tell. So if anybody out there knows if Madame Alexander made a 25-inch Binnie Walker with jointed legs, I mean, she has the normal joints, but these joints are different. These are like the Sissy doll. So I just find it very strange that I can't find anything online about it. So if anybody knows, please leave it in the comments for me. The next one is also, if I ever sell her, I probably will have to sell her for parts as well. The unfortunate thing about this, I bought her in the Goodwill. She didn't have anything on. She had like a little t-shirt on, but I bought her mostly for the face. But when I got back home, that particular store had a lot of things in it, and I saw her and I grabbed her and I put her in the cart. The unfortunate thing is she is really pretty. Her makeup is all there, but she has sustained some light damage, and I didn't check that out. And then also too, she is completely rewigged. So anybody that would purchase her then would have to maybe find an original wig, or I mean, you could leave this wig on her. I mean, it's like a little wigette. It's a very, very cute. It's a cute style for her. So I don't know how they put it on. This bow wasn't here. I actually added that when I added on her little mini dress. She had like this little shirt on, and so I just added this little mini dress. She had a little shirt on, and then she had on these these more modern day shoes and leggings. But right away I looked at the face, and that's how I knew that she was a Binnie Walker. And in the store, she didn't look quite as pale. But you know, there's people out there that probably could do the restoration on her, and you know, she's still pretty. She's still a very, very pretty doll. So I don't know if I will be able to actually sell this doll, but if I did, it would be, again, it would be for, you know, parts and maybe exploratory restoration or whatever. But she's so pretty. Her makeup is still intact. Her eyebrows are a little bit light, but her eyelashes are all there. Her lips are all there. I mean, she's a very, very pretty doll. So those are the dolls that I had purchased from the Goodwill. And I guess they're not too shabby for being in the Goodwill, because when you get stuff from there, you know, I had to do a little bit of light cleaning, because you know, when you get things from that particular store, you need to, you know, clean them up a little bit. But I didn't do the deep cleaning on them because I didn't want to mess with them a whole lot. So I cleaned them up a little bit, put some fresh clothes on them. None of these clothes that they have on, they were not sold with any of these clothes. So the one thing else about this one is I don't know whether she's a Binnie or a Winnie Walker. So because she has this little wigette on, and they glued it pretty good to her head, I mean, unless you take the wig off of her, maybe you can tell at that point whether she's a Binnie or a Winnie. But at this point, she's a Binnie Winnie. So, because I don't know which wig she would have had. So the next one, I believe I bought her at the antique store. And she's really pretty doll. Let me move some of these other ones out of the way here so that I can go on to this one. She is just a little bit dirty, I would say, but overall she's in great condition. She is a Winnie Walker because she has the wig that's actually glued onto her, you know, with the little it's got that I don't know if it's like a fabric, but it's actually glued onto the head. It's not that vinyl skull cap like the Binnie Walker. But her makeup is in really good, really good condition. Even her eyes, even her eye set. Her, you know, a lot of times when these dolls are, when they get older, their eyes become an issue where one is like rolled up into the head because of the weights in them. But her makeup's in great condition. This outfit is, it is not a Madame Alexander. It looks like it's handmade, but the dress underneath, I don't know if it is or isn't. I can't remember. She was actually sold, the dress was open when I purchased her. I have not actually looked at the tags. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the tags. I looked mostly at to make sure that she was a complete doll. Her mechanism does still work for her head. And so I just left the dress on. I left the little coat on. I have not seen Madame Alexander have a coat like this, and it doesn't seem to be marked. So, yeah, so she is also marked on her neck here. It's kind of rubbed out a little bit. Sometimes when you get dolls, they have their markings rubbed out on them. And I'm not too sure why that is. That's kind of a strange thing to me, because you know that you have a particular kind of doll, but the markings are rubbed out. She has one of those instances where it's kind of rubbed out. You can't tell, but I do know this is a Winnie Walker for sure. So I got her in an antique store. I got her for a pretty good deal because she is, she's not pristine. None of my dolls are pristine. I don't buy pristine because I'm clumsy, and so I don't want to hurt them. And then also too, I think that the absolute pristine doll should be probably in a glass case. So still a fantastic doll. This one I had purchased, I believe I purchased her on eBay. When she came in, she did not have I purchased her just like this. So I know that the dress is not original. She is a Binnie, or yeah, she's a Winnie Walker, because she has that wig that's just glued onto the head. And this dress here that's underneath, the peach dress here, it's not a Madame Alexander. This is this little thing over the top. It's very cute, but it's not Madame Alexander. But like I said, I don't mess with the dolls a lot. I keep them probably mostly as much as I can the way that I buy them. And then she does have her original socks, which is probably pretty obvious because they're kind of rough. They look kind of rough. They're kind of stained. And then her original shoes. And the shoes are actually in pretty good condition. So that's probably all that's original in the whole outfit is the socks and the shoes. And then, so her face is beautiful as well. And this is really what I look for when I purchase dolls for my collection. The ones that I had purchased from the Goodwill store, it was more just because, they were there. They were like, I mean, $2 to $3 a piece, and you get, you get a vintage doll that may only need to have a little bit of restoration. It's worth it. So those are actually a little bit rougher than I would ever really purchase from my collection. But so this one, like I said, she is a Winnie Walker. Her makeup is beautiful. Her eyelashes are all intact. She is showing a little bit of yellowing in her eyes. It's not anything extreme, but it is there. Her mechanism for her walker does still work, and I think they have some kind of little pantaloons on her, and all of her dress. She seems like she's in pretty good shape. She's not cracked or anything anywhere. So that is that Winnie Walker. And then I have my last one, and she's probably my absolute favorite. The only thing that I'm really kind of sad about is that her eyes are so yellow. And so this is one thing that I would love to do, would be to restore her with one of the ones that I had purchased from the Goodwill that has a better set of eyes, and have her eyes redone. Even though her eyes are, she's got beautiful eyelashes. Her eyelashes are intact. Her makeup is fairly light on her eyebrow, but everything else is really intact. She's my favorite one. She did come in this dress with this little purse, and it's not Madame Alexander. I don't see any markings on it as far as I can tell, but it's a very pretty dress. I had added this little skirt underneath because she didn't come with any pantaloons. So I added some little vintage pantaloons that may be Madame Alexander. I'm not too sure. And then this little slip, just so that it's got a little bit so you can't see through it. And then her socks and shoes are also original. Not too bad shape. The socks are still a little bit discolored. Let's see if I can bring those up so you can see. They are a tiny bit discolored. And the shoes show quite a bit of wear, but they are still original. It's hard to find these dolls that have the original shoes too, unless it's a one-person owner. There's a lot of times where their shoes are missing. So I really don't think that I would ever sell this doll. I think she was one of the first large Winnie Walkers that I had ever purchased. I did purchase her on eBay. I won her as a bid or an auction, and her hair is in really, really good shape. So she was one of my very first large Winnie Walkers. So if anybody knows of something that I can do with the eyes, and I'd really be scared to try it, but I would love to whiten them up because they're pretty. They're just a little bit yellow. She does show a little bit of signs that she was displayed in some sunlight, but it's not as extreme as the other one that I had gotten from the Goodwill. But she is a beautiful doll. So these are my Binnie Winnie walkers. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.